You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, we have got Victor Newman out for revenge on what feels like half the people in Genoa City, and he's just being constantly insufferable, and somebody's got to stop him. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about why Victor needs shut down, why he needs karma, why he needs some comeuppance. Please click subscribe if you're not following us. Let's get into it. So the first and main reason that Victor needs to be taken down is just this latest vendetta against Jack Abbott is ridiculous. For more than a year now, Victor has been totally furious with Jack, and Victor's always ranting that Jack put Nikki's life at risk, which is ludicrous. Jack did not put Nikki's life at risk at all. In fact, Jack risked his own life and his own sobriety to save Nikki when she was spinning out of control. Diane was upset that he risked his life for Nikki, and she acknowledges that that's what it was. Nobody agrees with Victor's ridiculous accusations about Jack. Not one Newman, especially not Nikki. Literally nobody else in Genoa City except Victor thinks this. He has manufactured a reason to hate Jack, and it's like he pulled this lame reason out of thin air. And I think if we're trying to justify this story-wise, Victor was salty because Jack saved Nikki when Victor could not, because he was actually enabling Nikki to get drunk at home because Victor kept booze in the house knowing she was off the wagon. And Victor refused to send Nikki to rehab after Jordan pushed her off the wagon, and everybody knew that Nikki needed to go, but Victor kept saying no. Even all of their kids, all of Victor's kids, have said he's wrong for hating Jack based on this flimsy reason. I think if we're going to dig into the character's psychology, Victor's angry at himself. Not that he would admit it, but honestly, I think it's just bad writing. The second reason that fans are really tired of Victor and his never-ending vendetta is him being back again, destroying Billy Boy's life. It's worse now that Victor wants to use Cane to help destroy Billy, which is absolute insanity because he's the father of two of Victoria's children, Victor's grandchildren. Yet Victor always goes after Billy. He's been doing it forever, even when Billy hasn't especially done anything to warrant it. Victoria hates this about her father, but he won't stop. I mean, Billy was pretty much minding his own business, running Chancellor, and Victor just decided to be a jerk and take it away because he could. And he did a lot of lying and scheming and dirty things to steal that out from under Billy. And of course, Victor won't ever be happy if Billy has anything good in his life. Not that I'm necessarily Team Billy. I'm not a huge fan of this version of the character. You know, I loved the Billy Mealor version of him, but this version I find problematic. But at the same time, I'm not Team Victor right now at all. So I'll take Billy over Victor at the moment. And while I don't think Billy can take Victor down on his own, I do think Cane could help Billy do it. And I think Victor needs to be put in his place. Another reason he needs a slap from karma is because Victor is always messing up his family's lives because he thinks he knows better about everything. You know, Victor was out there trying to break his granddaughter's heart, poor Claire. She loves Kyle and was perfectly happy, but because he's Jack's son, well, Victor decided Claire shouldn't be with him, so Victor hired Audra to break them up in the dirtiest way. The thing with Claire was like the other schemes that Victor's done in the past, with Victoria messing with her love life, and Victor messed with Nick and Adam's lives extensively, all while saying he knew better. Nikki is having to constantly defend and enable Victor, and I think Nikki and the kids should be the ones to put Victor in check, to kick him out of the CEO seat at Newman, make him retire, let the kids inherit, but of course they won't do it. The next reason that Victor needs to be taken down is just what a bad influence he is on so many people. And what's crazy is aside from him, the rest of the Newmans are getting along fine. Adam has finally been accepted by his siblings. He's no longer the rejected black sheep with all that anger. He and Nick are getting along great. And miraculously, Adam has actually formed a genuine bond with Victoria. Claire is integrated into the family. She's close to everybody. All the kids are happy. Everything would be good if not for Victor being a vengeful jerk. You know, the kids could be running Newman Enterprises very happily. No revenge plots or scheming. Imagine the Newmans just chill and happy. I mean, arguably that's not very soapy, but Victor is the one stressing everybody out and driving all this drama, but not in a good way, not in a well-written way. Nick and Adam could absolutely handle Cane's threat without Victor. I think all the kids would function really well without Victor's interference. He needs to step off. He's out of control. And he's also a bad influence on Michael Baldwin, by the way, and pretty much anybody he comes into contact with. So the final reason that Victor needs to be thrown off his high horse is because of the fans. Most people I see on soap social media, just like the great percentage of them, are sick and tired of the way that Victor is acting, and it's down to terrible writing because what's going on makes no sense. His motive for the latest vendetta is sloppy. It just doesn't make sense. This is another character that Josh Griffith has ruined. And of course, Victor has been a villain in the past, which is totally fine if it's well written. Like one really villainous plot that I think back on that was very well written, even though it was just psychotic, was the whole thing with Jack and Phyllis when Victor brought Marco Anicelli to town after kidnapping Jack and put Marco in his place, and Phyllis had a stranger in her bed and didn't know it. You know, that was all terrible behavior, Victor doing these awful things, but the writing was good and the motivations were twisted but understandable, and there was a flow of logic. In this case, to me, bad writing, illogical, fans frustrated. In terms of who takes down Victor and gives him that karmic slap, I do think Cane may be a good choice. Even though his own family should do it, they won't. But Cane's got tons of resources and he's willing to play dirty. So for a lot of reasons, many that I listed, more that you could probably think of, Victor really needs to get a comeuppance at the hands of the new guy who is back in town. Even if Cane does take Victor down, though, you know, it won't last. The great Victor Newman will never be completely destroyed, and we don't want that. But he needs a big fat reality check, knocked down about 5 pegs, so maybe he won't be a full jerk all the time. Cane might be the one to do it. Something needs to change with Victor. It's no fun to watch him anymore because you can't justify his behavior, and so it's really cringy and it's turning a lot of fans off. And it's a shame because Victor remains a fan favorite character even when he's dark and villainous, as long as the writing is good. I've been hoping something is going to change now that Jill Farron Phelps is back on the producing team, but so far I haven't seen it. Fingers crossed.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.